you guys, it's me, Dr. Torie. My book is officially out. And yes, it is time to talk about ACEs. You guys can find the books everywhere. However, I would encourage you guys to go to my website, Be VicTORIEus.com, and place your order today. Yes, it's time to talk about ACEs. Let's go, y'all.
Hello, hello, you guys. Welcome to another episode of Be Victorious. Y'all should know who I am by now. It's Dr. Torie, known as Dr. Victorious, and I am here for another episode. You know what I like? The fact that I get a chance to meet all of these wonderful superheroes that are willing to tell their story. And it's been my pleasure to have such an experience with so many wonderful people. What do you think, Marv?
Yeah, and it was very, very cool at the inaugural Aces Awareness Conference to meet all the people that we have been interviewing throughout the years.
Mhm.
So it was really, really awesome. I felt like it was like a family reunion. Um,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we had a ton of people who are cycle breakers. That's probably should go in the Guinness Book of World Records. How many cycle breakers can you have in one location? So
I think that was what it was. So many people had so many wonderful things to say and so many wonderful positive things to bring to the conference. It was hard to not choose and pick everybody because it was so many people. I just loved the cohesion. I loved not just the people that came, but what they brought to the conference. I think that was what it was for me. Like, I'll give you an example from our live event, our podcast, 300 Letters is doing their thing. You already know, to have those cycle breakers, to have those superheroes share their story and their passion and purpose in regard to 300 Letters. Lisa, one of our authors, used their story to actually donate her books to a women's shelter in Chicago.
Mm.
And so that's power to me because we're a community that is actually really doing about the awareness of ACEs and putting the information out there. Lisa's book is about ACEs. And to go to a prison, a woman's prison, and share her book with somebody that actually will have an ACEs score lets people know that we cannot let ACEs define who we are and what we do. And I think that is what I liked, the variety of people and everything that they brought to the conference. And now everybody is catching on and the community is growing. And I think that's what I love the most.
You know, I mentioned all the people that we met, right? Or we met in person for the first time.
Mhm.
But the thing that stood out to me was not only the support of your community, your sisters, your friends, but also your mentees and how many of them were present. So like you've been mentoring for like what, 30 plus years?
Yep.
Like, what type of impact has that had on you as a person?
I'll be honest. I start off with I'll be honest because I don't know no other way to be. But when I was 17 going through my ACEs, I felt like I needed a me and I did not have a me. And I have to shout out the people that were there to fill in, those, open spaces. But when I think about those people that fill in those open spaces, I'll be totally honest with you, they're cycle breakers. So when I think about it, they have aces. They are overcoming their adversities as far as growing up. They're doing things in their community already. They just probably don't know who they are based off of description. So if you have somebody like, I'll give you an example, me. You got somebody that are out here breaking generational curses, out here that's, doing the work of a cycle breaker. You really don't know until you're in that situation. But I think ACEs awareness helps that person know who they are and define who they are and understand who they are, which is the reason why we have so many people that have stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, this is what I want to do. I know now how to pivot my life and address aces because not only addressing their aces is helping them, it's helping their respective community as well. So I'll give you an example. Another example, you have people like Jorge. Jorge actually has went back. He is a licensed transformational coach, has been doing it for a while,
Mhm.
but due to mental health life, I'll say that. I wanted to empower him a different way. I've been helping him educationally for a while and to empower him and let him know and let others know that Jorge is so much more than just a Jorge, the excitement we know, that he's really qualified to have this conversation, to talk to people and change lives. You would have had to be there. When he did his first motivational Monday, I mean, I was proud. I was a proud mentor because this is what he's wanted. I think the difference between me mentoring at a high school and in schools and mentoring worldwide, shall I say, is that the common purpose is still the same, is to reach and mentor and create and make an impact and make people feel empowered and make people feel positive. And I think once you know about ACEs and once you get that education of ACEs, it kind of combines. So I think that's what I like about being a mentor because it doesn't define you within a classroom. You can mentor people just being who you are. And me addressing ACEs and telling my story and having the podcast and sharing my story, I think that is really what's helping people and educating people seriously.
So what made you want to lead by example, be the example, talk about your personal life and put your story out there to make a difference with ACEs?
Why not? And I say that
Not
in
everybody wants to do that though. Not everybody is strong enough to lead by example and to make themselves vulnerable to talk about their weaknesses or things that they want to improve upon. Not everybody is strong enough to do that or willing to do that.
And the crazy thing is, I still haven't had the chance. I wrote the book, It's Time to Talk About ACEs, because I want people to understand what ACEs are, how much of an impact it have on you. I want people to know that you can still have ACEs like I do and achieve. So, for example, for the people that don't know, and I say this all the time, yes, I'm a first generation high school graduate. However, to be the first to graduate from my family on both sides with a doctorate degree, it's a huge weight to carry. Because if you really know me and you know my story, I have an older brother. Nobody asks me, well, what's going on with your older brother? Why didn't he graduate? So that's the reason why the book It's Time to Talk About ACEs is out first, so I can explain to people what it is. I added parts of my story so people can understand that throughout the book, but I still haven't told my story yet. I said I lived in household dysfunction when I was younger. Well, what happened was in my adult life, that household dysfunction carried with me. And that's why my first chapter is talking about addressing generational curses and talking about generational trauma. Because had I known some of the mistakes that I have made, I don't want to call them mistakes, I want to call them experiences, has helped me through my growth of life and helped me through process and has helped me heal. So I'm going to say that was what it was for me to lead by example so people can see it. I'm already leading by example, being the first of to do a lot of things. But I think that has also empowered people. That's the reason why me as a transformational coach is there because I can help you transition. We're talking about not just with your personal, but with your professional. I've helped several people at this point now go back to school to get their doctorate degrees. Like, yay, love that. But that's coaching, but and then there's mentorship. So someone like Jorge to take advantage of that mentorship. Yep, this is my mentor. That she has mentored me. She has educated me on ACEs. I take that with pride because to see him work and see him have that conversation, to see him talk about it, to see Lisa talk about it, to see Mick talk about it, to see all the people that we have impacted on this podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to.
So you talked about, and I'm put a little bit of your business out there, but I'm proud of this person too. So you talked about being a first generation high school graduate,
Hmm.
and we also talked about cycle breakers. So
Hmm.
you broke the cycle, but the cycle continues to be broken because your oldest daughter just graduated from high school. And so the mission that you're on, not only are you saving other people, but you're saving your lineage, your family. So if you had to say a message to your daughters about, why you do this and, why it's been your ministry, your mission, what would you say?
I don't want anybody else to go through this experience, which is the reason why I became a mentor in the beginning. Because as a person that graduated from high school first, I don't want anybody to go through the stuff that I went through, my aces growing up. That's the reason why I became a mentor. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. If I can graduate from high school, you can. But those experiences that we have been through, let's kind of address those and do what we need to do so you won't have to do those things. We all know students or kids that have dropped out of high school. Family things have happened, have committed suicide. We know that there are kids out there, or wait, hold on, let me add the community violence or bullying to it. We have people out there that have experienced these things, but if you don't know what these things are, you can't address them. You cannot. Like bullying is a norm. I'm glad that the CDC has made bullying an adverse childhood experience because bullying starts in the home.
Yeah,
Parents,
I,
siblings,
I've
the
heard
whole nine.
people, I've heard it, obviously the siblings thing, but I saw something that was trending on social media where they said my first bully was my mom.
Right.
And I was like, wow, damn, that's deep. That's deep. But there are a lot of sisters.
Um, how many fathers have we seen if the young man doesn't fall in their lineage or they fall in their that they get upset? Well, I played football, you need to play football, or I did this,
They
you
don't
did
fit that
this.
mode of they don't fit that mode of masculinity. Yeah.
And I will tell you this, and this is so funny. I will share with you my first job out of college was I was a supervisor, a hospital supervisor, a housekeeping hospital supervisor with the Aramark Service Master.
I
My
remember, I
dad,
remember when you had that job. Yeah.
yes. Guess who was the person that was that person for me was my dad. He was a housekeeping supervisor. True
Mm,
story, true facts. You know what I mean? So when you think about how powerful your family is and how powerful your family can be, you telling me I graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology, and my first job was a housekeeper supervisor?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's be clear. I did what dad wanted. Yay. But he wanted it a little bit more. But I thought I was doing something. He was my mentor. He was the person that told me to do what I needed to do. But when you have, again, generational lineage and generational understanding, I mean, the only thing that he did in addition to that was go to the military, and that wasn't an option for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the main thing we're talking about is the mentorship and your mentees. So which leads us to some big things that we got coming up.
Yes.
The cycle breakers. I mentioned all the cycle breakers in one place, and we got something special for the viewers when it comes to bringing a highlight, shining a spotlight on the cycle breakers we know. You want to talk about that?
I just think that people have to know that cycle breakers are superheroes. We don't need to categorize aces in a negative light. I feel like we need to categorize aces in a positive light. And I say that to say there are so many cycle breakers out there. I can do some shout outs, I can do all of that, but let's give a few examples, like Taraji. Of course, I'm going to bring her up. The reason why I bring up Taraji Henson because she always talks about aces and she always talks about her aces score and how she doesn't let her aces score define her. Well, I don't either. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's, oh, how was the conference and how was this and how was this? It's like it was great. So what happened? You should have been there. You know what I mean? Like
Okay. Yeah.
it's like the people that were in the room can explain it a lot more, but we empowered them, the ones that was in the room, so much to understand that they're happy about being cycle breakers. They're happy about being who they are. We actually came up with superhero names while we were there so we can let people know how empowered we are and who we are. I'm always gonna be Wonder Woman. My everybody that knows me know I'm all over the place, let's be clear. But when you think about the original Linda Carter, she was a normal person. When she took out and put on her Wonder Woman, she did her thing. And that's exactly what happened at the conference. These people came out and did their thing.
Hmm. Yep.
We have to highlight these people because they're people out here in the community that is really honestly doing the work. And I didn't just force people to be on the podcast. These are people that came to the podcast that actually really told their story. And then it's like they tell their story and you find out that they're authors and they got this going on, or they have this non-for-profit that they're doing, or they had this story and this is what happened to them and this is the result. You know what I mean? So it's like, why not put a highlight on cycle breaking and put it into a positive perspective? We got people out here whose parents broke up and they decided, well, they're going to get together and heal by breaking the generational curses and be in relationships, marriages for 25, 35, 40 years. Gotta shout out my aunt and uncle who I always call my aunt the original OG, my dad's oldest sister. Her and her husband have been married over 50 years. Like, OMG, you talking about milestones. You talk about, what you want to do. When I tell you they have been supportive of me since I'm not even 50 yet. So just know since birth, you know what I'm saying? It's you want to put yourself around those people, but you also want to highlight those type of people for what they have done. And I think it's a good idea to do that because I think more people, once they see it from a positive perspective, instead of seeing ACEs as a score or seeing ACEs as something negative, will get more awareness out there. And that's just how I feel.
So we're gonna have people that you've seen before coming back to the show. We got some new faces coming in, but the thing that will be consistent with all of them in this upcoming series is that they all are cycle breakers.
Hmm.
We've talked about ACEs, we've helped promote ACEs awareness. But this is like I would say, I'm saying this, not Dr. Torie, but this is like the second phase. Okay, now we recognize it. Now we're going to show how we beat it. So that's
Hmm.
what this series is going to do. But
Hmm.
before we go, I talked about your mentees, and a lot of your mentees are ambassadors
Yes.
for the foundation. Um,
And
Talk about
what
how that impacts you in terms of, you mentioned about you wanted to be somebody that you needed, the younger you needed, right? But now you're leading in a different way because you're making a bunch of smaller, younger Dr. Tories to go out and help in the community. So talk about the ambassadors and what you have going on with them.
I came up with the idea of an hashtag for ACEs ambassadors. It's a hashtag out there already. ACE ambassador. I think an ACE ambassador needs a definition, and I think the people on not just our podcast, it's other people that fit that description. And so I think it would be a good idea to just put that out as a hashtag so people can know and affiliate with understanding ACEs that way. You know what I mean? Make it known. I'm an ACEs ambassador. I know about it. I know what to do. I'm educating people in my community. And I think that's where Be Victorious Foundation can make a huge impact. I mean, it's as easy as a month, having a donation and saying, hey, I want to do it. $1 a month, $12 a year. And for those who are big and bad, $1 a day, whatever it is to let people know that ACEs is out here, ACEs is real. We can continue to educate people. I love the way that it was broken down when I was listening to Jorge break it down, and one of the young ladies knew that has taken the test with me said, Dr. Torie, I took the test with you. It was one thing to take it and see it. She said, I love the way that you broke it down. She said, but I am an audio visual learner. She said, when Jorge broke it down, it made more sense to me. She said, and that made my ACEs score go from a 6 to a 7. She
Mm,
said, I know it doesn't define me. It was the awareness of it for me.
mm,
And that is the reason why I said, yeah, we need to put this hashtag out here because it's not just my my former mentees that I am mentoring at this point. I'm mentoring everybody. I'm mentoring people all over the world at this point. You know what I mean? And not just me, I have a community that is doing the same. I was talking to Mick and he was telling me, and I keep talking to this young lady, she's in our group. She's at Liverpool University having a conversation and getting her doctorate degree on ACEs. So this isn't just something that I'm doing. You have people like Mike, I call him future Dr. Davis, Mike Davis, that's out here having a conversation about ACEs. He's doing his and changing his directive to ACEs and understanding people in the military because there's such a
yeah.
combined, thanks to future Dr. Helena Fields, who is finishing up with her doctorate degree. Dr. Fields was Dr. Fields. She was episode 5 and she talked about ACEs and lupus. So let's be clear, it's not just me that's out here doing these things. It's people that have been on the podcast that are out here in their community doing their thing. And I think we need to put a highlighted emphasis on them, not just as a cycle breaker, but bring that ACE ambassador awareness to adults so they understand you don't have to be a mentee to be or understand ACEs. You got to be aware.
Hmm. Yep. So, we got a bunch of big things coming.
We do.
Tell
And
people.
I wanna let people know on the 21st here in Dallas, I have collaborated with an organization here. Not only are we doing a book launch, we're celebrating Juneteenth, and I'm the highlight. I'm so excited. So I have to shout out my people from Chicago who mentioned my name in rooms. We're going to have that conversation. And then I have to shout out that it is Men's Health Month, Mental Health Month. I have to shout out Andre Charlie. I will be there in, I want to say July, having that conversation that we had at the conference as far as the statistics that we brought for the men. Oh, we're going to elaborate that a lot more. All of that information will be presented out there to get more men aware about ACEs and mental health for sure. So we
So,
got a lot coming up in June. We got a lot of stuff coming up, period.
so June 21st will be the program here in Dallas, Texas.
Mhm.
Tell people where they can find you on social media and where they can find your book.
You can find me everywhere in social media. I am on Instagram as Dr. Victorious. I am on Facebook as Dr. Victorious. I am actually on LinkedIn as myself, but my pages, Be Victorious with Dr. Torie Williams and Be Victorious Foundation, are on LinkedIn. I am actually back on TikTok. I'm going to be working with a young lady. Her name is Harriet Harris. Shout her out. We're going to be doing some series. She's definitely interested in talking about ACEs. So I'm going to collaborate with her and do a few series to put that information on ACEs back out there on TikTok land. So you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you have LinkedIn, you have TikTok. Any other questions or concerns, you can hit me up on email or you can hit my DM if necessary.
Yep. And get that link on her bio so you can buy the book.
Absolutely. The book is everywhere. When I mean everywhere, everywhere. You can go on my website if you want a personalized copy. You can get a hardback or you can get a paperback, and I will send you all of my wishes. I have workbooks out there. I have trainings. I have things available. So just reach out and I have what you need to help you. Trust me, I got you.
All right. I think we talked about it enough.
Yes. Thank you so much for everything and thank you for your support. 3 years in, how do you feel?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm fired up, ready to go. I'm looking forward to this new series because I enjoy not just talking about a problem, but also showing how people can provide solutions. So
Because you are a cycle breaker?
yeah, we'll say
See?
that.
Uh-huh. That's why we need to have that conversation and we having that talk about ACEs.
Yeah, we'll
Let's
talk.
get to it.
We'll talk about it. But all right, y'all. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
All righty. Talk to you guys.